What's good, y'all? Welcome back to the CFL podcast. I'm your host, Kobe Orr, and as promised, I am going to tell you today my top 10 mobile quarterbacks in the HBCU football. Now, keep in mind, if you do not agree with this list, it's okay. You can let me know down in the comments below. If you think somebody is too high or not high enough, if you think I've missed somebody, let me know down in the comments, but just be respectful. That's all I ask. We can have different opinions, but as long as we're respectful and, we're talking about football like the way, it's supposed to be talked about, it's all good. No drama, no negativity, none of that. So I'm going to start off with an honorable mention because I couldn't put them on the list because of the guys ahead of them, but I didn't want to leave them off as well. So honorable mention before we get started is Mr. Michael Huntley, right, from Lane College. That guy is an absolute baller. It was kind of upsetting to me that I couldn't put him on the list. I didn't want to tie him with anybody for a spot, for the number 10 spot. But man, I just couldn't leave him off. He's so dynamic right now. I didn't catch a lot of Lane College, but I did catch a little bit because I am trying to expand. So that way I don't just talk about Jackson State. I don't just talk about the SWAC or even the MEAC. I want to get into SEAC ball as well. And I think I'm starting out pretty well. Michael Huntley, though, is a guy who I've seen some of the highlights from last season. I've seen some game tape from him last season as well. And man, he really just impressed me when I was watching him. Like, he was just all over the place, right? Throwing the ball. I mean, it goes without saying he can throw the ball very well. But I think he is much better not much better, but he's a dynamic runner. I think that's the great part about his game. Like I said, he can do both. Right, but watching him, I just think he is exciting to watch. The guy's box office for Lane College. Lane is definitely lucky to have him. And like I said, I haven't seen much on him, but I cannot wait to see what he does next season because I'm going to pay a lot more attention. So that's my honorable mention. All right, Michael Huntley. He's that guy. Watch out for him next season. Just missed it, but I could not leave him off because, man, he is just way too talented. So shout out to Michael Huntley. Now, let's get into the list, all right? At number 10, we got Jaylen Jones. Yeah, that's right. The man who was at Jackson State in the spring and before the spring, obviously, entered the transfer portal because of the whole thing with Shador. And, I think he started writing on the wall a little bit. But he entered the transfer portal, right? Went to JUCO with the JUCO route. Put up 1,200 yards and 7 touchdowns. I think he won 5 games, lost 4. Kind of an up and down season at the JUCO level. But he was only sacked 3 times in 8 games. Only sacked 3 times in 8 games. Put up 235 yards rushing in 8 games. And man, from what we know about Jaylen Jones, we know he is an exceptional runner. That is one thing he will always do well, right? That's never going to be the down part of his game. What we wanted to see him do was improve as a passer back when he was at Jackson State. And his stats, those 1,200 yards, the completion percentage, it could have been better with the touchdown to interception ratio. But the completion percentage, when I saw the tape at his JUCO, I said to myself, he looks like a better passer. That was the most important thing. So Jaylen Jones, now that he is an improved passer, to go along with that dynamic running game that he has, I think he's going to be sensational for Bethune-Cookman, who we all know was really like a touchdown, like 10 points away from winning more games in the SWAC. They were so close every week. So I think Jaylen Jones is going to be the difference maker for Bethune-Cookman. That's why he's number 10 on my list. Coming in at number 9, we got Mr. Jamari Jones, the number 1 JUCO quarterback in the country, who shocked everybody by going to Mississippi Valley State. Shout out to Coach Dancy. Cannot wait to see that offense. Cannot wait to see him paired up with Caleb Johnson and the rest of that team, man. It's going to be crazy. So Jamari, man, 2,000 yards passing at EMCC, the school that was on Last Chance U, right? So he comes from a good program with Coach Buddy at the helm, that we know, right? But 2,000 yards passing, 27 touchdowns in 10 games, only sacked 4 times in 10 games. He's very elusive. On top of that, it's a fly in here. On top of that, 573 yards rushing, almost 1,000. What that tells me is that, yes, he can run. He can run. But I don't get, when I look at him, I get the sense that he ran because he had to at EMCC, not because he wanted to. I think when he gets to Mississippi Valley, now that you got a guy who can really open up your playbook a lot more for Coach Dancy, because, no disrespect to the last quarterback, but I didn't think that throwing was his strong suit. I think he was just a really good runner. So when it came to running the ball, him and Caleb Johnson, they were electric, but passing, it wasn't a threat. So you could really focus on the run a lot more with Mississippi Valley State and kind of stop him when it mattered. Now you can't. You have to respect Jamari and his passing ability. He can run, he can throw, he does so very well. Now he does throw. He's a little up there in interceptions. At least he was in EMCC. So we'll see how he is with the touchdown to interception ratio. But like I said, I'm a fan of him. Only sacked 4 times in 10 games. Tells you all you need to know about his mobility, right? He's not easy to bring down, okay? A lot of great pocket presence. And if he gets to moving, you might as well forget about it, okay? It's not easy to lead your team to a 9-1 record at any level of college football. And he was able to do so at the JUCO level for EMCC. So Jamari Matthews, number 9 on this list. Coming in at number 8, though, we got Mr. And this is gonna make a lot of y'all mad. I expect to anyway. Demetric Davis. Why is Demetric Davis so low on this list? For one reason and one reason only. I promise you, he hasn't played a game in college football. He has not played a game in college football. I can't put him top 5. I can't do it for what he was able to do in high school. Yes, I know he's one of the most decorated players in Texas high school football history. I understand it. I understand that this man was so good in high school that he even had Lamar Jackson complimenting him on social media. I get it. I get all of that. He is a dynamic player. I have no doubt in my mind that when Demetric Davis steps on the field for Alabama State, that he will be something special. But until I'm able to see it, it would not be fair of me to put him any higher on this list, okay? Me personally, I put him at number 8 is because I feel like right now he is better than Jamari and he is better than Jaylen Jones. I believe that. I believe that from my eye test. But going forward, no. I even with these two behind him being experienced at the college level, I couldn't put Demetrius any higher than that. But I have enough confidence to say that he is better than Jamari and Jaylen right now. So this list will change by the time the season's over with, and I just can't wait to see what Demetrius does. As for what we know, what he can do, right? Here's what I'm expecting him to do. I'm expecting him to put up video game-like numbers. I'm expecting that, right? I'm expecting him to continue to be light on his feet. That we know. He's like, the kid's a dynamic force, right? And it kind of helps that he's 5'10", I think 5'10". The shorter players are obviously a lot more faster. That's no slight to him at all because, like I said, dude's electric, right? Light on his feet. The first defender will always miss, okay? The first pass rusher to get to him in any situation will always miss. 9 times out of 10. Mark my words when I say that, because Demetric Davis is just that electric with his feet. But he also has a cannon of an arm, right? And coming out of high school, he even had a 4th to 7th round projection. Some people even said there were differing opinions on him, but a lot of people felt like he could continue his career after college and even play at the level. At the next level. So Demetric Davis is a guy who should be top 5 on this list, right? And who I would have loved to put top 5 on this list, but until I see him in an actual game, I just cannot do that. It wouldn't be fair, and I hope y'all understand. The man's an unquestioned leader. Okay, a lot of people have said it about him. I have nothing but good things to say about Demetric Davis. He just couldn't be higher, and I just had to be fair of that aspect. So Alabama State fans, don't come for me, please. That's the only reason. Next up at the number 7 spot, man, we got a guy who I am fastly becoming a huge fan of, and that is Mr. Eric Phoenix of Benedict College. Now, listen, Eric Phoenix is box office. Oh, he's box office. See, let me tell you something about Eric Phoenix, because of course Benedict is in the SEAC. It's a Division II school, so a lot of y'all probably don't know about him. Eric Phoenix, although he passed for 1,800 yards, which y'all might think that's on the low side a little bit, it's decent. He's only a sophomore, right? Eric Phoenix, man, 1,800 yards, 12 touchdowns. He was all-conference second team in the SEAC, right? On top of that, like I said, he's very much box office. When he takes off, good things happen. You better get your cameras out. You don't want to blink because you might miss something great. He's that spectacular when he takes off with the football. He is a guy who is very much capable of putting the team on his back and delivering the win. Not that he has to do that, because Benedict is a very talented roster, and I fully expect them to be in the playoffs next season, right, from what I've seen of him. But Eric Phoenix, if he continues to get better as a passer, I think he'll be great. And he doesn't have that far to go, because keep in mind, that fade ball of his is immaculate. I have never seen him misthrow a fade, especially in the red zone. Like he's just on the money with that, right? He's the kind of guy who, if he's on the move, it's over with. You design runs for him. He's that kind of guy. Yes, he can extend plays. Okay, I think every guy on this list can extend plays. Let me just say that. But you want to design runs for Eric Phoenix. He's just that good, in my opinion. So Eric Phoenix, number 7. Now at number 6. We got Mr. Aaron Allen, Alcorn State's newest quarterback from the FBS level. Let's face it, we all expect Aaron Allen to be starting. I know I do. Aaron Allen, man, dude is just dangerous on the rollout. Let me start off by saying this before I even go into this game. He looks like an Alcorn quarterback. You know, when I saw him and I saw that he committed, I said to myself, nah, you look like you belong at Allen. That's not a diss in any sense, because we all know the past 2 quarterbacks that Alcorn had who were great, who were just great guys, great competitors, great players. I think Aaron Allen, he just looks like an Alcorn Brave, right? And when you put this guy on a rollout, when you keep him on the move, it seems like his throwing becomes even more accurate than when he's standing in the pocket. And that's something that's rare, right? You don't really see that. A guy who seems to be more accurate on the run than he is in the pocket. So it'll be interesting to see what Coach McNair does with Aaron Allen. On top of that, the man can extend plays. This we know, right? His legs are really used more to keep the play going when the play breaks down. And I will say this is my last point about him. Man, is he impressive with the pocket presence. Oh my God. Watching him at La Tech, watching his film at La Tech, so many times I see the defensive lineman coming, okay? He takes that hit every single time and he gets the ball off. He waits long enough for that he gives that receiver just enough time to get open, and he delivers that pass, taking the punishment every single time. That is the kind of heart and that is the kind of bravery that you want out of your quarterback. He is not he is not scary at all. He doesn't have happy feet at all. I love it about Aaron Allen. That's why he comes in where he is, which is number 6, of course. Now, we in the top 5. I thought long and hard about this top 5. I did. Y'all probably know who's number 1, but I just keep that a surprise anyway for the people who may not know. But at this number 5 spot is a guy who deserves to be here. A guy whose name should have been known after his performance this past season. A guy who plays in the SEAC, who goes by the name of David Wright III. David Wright III plays for Allen University. David Wright III plays in the SEAC, Division II. Now, y'all are looking at this and y'all probably saying, why is a Division II quarterback from the SEAC in the top 5? Because all he did as a true freshman, mind you, he led the best offense in the conference, averaging 430 yards a game. This kid at 5'10", he's only 5'10", has a rocket arm. He's not a guy that you maybe design run plays for. I wouldn't say that about him, but he can damn sure extend them. He's a guy who threw for 2,200 yards in his freshman year for a team who just got their football team back in 2018. A lot of those guys on that team are not even upperclassmen. 2,200 yards in his freshman year, 375 rushing yards, led the best offense in the conference. Of course, it helps that he has 2 dynamic playmakers who are also freshmen. But man, David Wright III reminds me of Russell Wilson. His coach also said it as well. If you want to check out my video with the head coach of Allen University, Teddy Keaton, I suggest you do so because that is a program that everybody should know about in HBCU football. David Wright III is that guy. He is that guy. He's only going to get better. I expect a 3,000-yard passing season. I expect for him to at least have over 500 yards rushing. We'll see, because that offense that Allen is going to be running with the guys they got, man, it's going to be something. It's going to be something spectacular to watch. But man, it was one throw versus Benedict where he was on the run. The pocket collapsed. He ran all the way out to the left side. He has no protection anymore. Off balance, and I mean completely off balance, on one foot, he chucked the ball up to his speedy receiver. And I mean, this kid got wheels because I made a video on him. And the ball almost oversailed the receiver. Like that's how strong his arm is. David Wright III is an electrifying quarterback, man. I need y'all to pay more attention to Allen University. Do that for me. I had to put him number 5. I could not have put him any lower. I'm a very big fan of his. Coming in at the number 4 spot, we got Davius Richards, North Carolina Central quarterback. I owe this man an apology. Although I apologize to North Carolina Central for saying that I believe that they were going to lose by 2 touchdowns week 1 in the MEAC SWAC Challenge. I apologize to them, but I didn't apologize to Davies. Why? Because that man really impressed me that game. I mean, thoroughly impressed me. And ever since then, even though I haven't watched them all season, North Carolina Central, I have always kept an eye on Davies. And from what I've seen, man, first of all, his arm is out of here. Strong, right? He needs a little bit more refinement as a passer. I think once he gets that, so that way his touchdown to interception ratio, his decision making, it becomes a little bit better. Trust me when I say this dude will be one of the best, probably higher on this list, right? I think the only reason why he's not really known like that is because a lot of people don't really pay attention to the MEAC. Not that he's not known, but he's not really talked about. But look, 15 passing touchdowns, 2K yards, 8 rushing touchdowns, averages 4 yards per carry on the ground. He's a dangerous runner. He's a very dangerous runner. Davius Richards is that guy. That's all I can say about him. Davius Richards deserves to be at the number 4 spot. At the number 3 spot, Jared Lewis, Delaware State, a.k.a. Snoop. This man, Jared, boy, y'all need to be talking about Jared, man. Listen, 20 passing touchdowns. Second in the MEAC in passing efficiency. And let me say this about him as a runner. When he takes off, I'm genuinely scared. He's intimidating. Jared Lewis is an intimidating runner. If I'm a defensive coordinator, I hate it when he comes out the pocket. Because for him to be that size, for him to be built the way that he is, and for him to be as fast as he is, man, he is a guy who I would take on my team any day as a head coach, as an offensive coordinator. And of course, it doesn't hurt that he has a very strong arm, as you would hope somebody that size would. Man, Jared Lewis he's that guy. He's that guy. And here's the thing, I put him this high on this list for a reason, because I expect him to really show out next season. That's what this list is about. I expect him to really put on the show next season and let people know who Jared Lewis is, exactly who Jared Lewis is. Because when they see what I see in him, they're going to say, why haven't we been talking about this man sooner? Jared Lewis, intimidating. I'm not going to say the most intimidating runner, but, from a physical standpoint, yes, he's the most intimidating runner when he takes off with the ball. All right, so 20 touchdowns, obviously exceptional. Because it's Delaware State, a lot of people are going to say, nah, we don't agree. But trust me, all right, just take my word for it. Jared Lewis is that guy. Coming in at the number 2 spot, my dog, Corey Fields, South Carolina State. Shout out to South Carolina State. That's the home team. Corey Fields, the guy who went toe-to-toe with Alabama A&M's Akil Glass, one of the most decorated passes in SWAC history, Akil Glass. threw for what, 400 yards versus FBS opponent New Mexico State. See, this is a guy who people say they aren't that impressed by, Jackson State fans. All right, you know, we know that. So they say people say they aren't that impressed with Corey Fields. And I say why? See, because they don't really watch him. They seen the first half of that Celebration Bowl, and they think Corey is not a good passer. I say you're crazy because like I said, I've seen him going that up with Akil Glass. I've seen him put up 300 or 400 yards passing versus New Mexico State, an FBS opponent. It's not a matter of if Corey Fields can throw the ball. It's how consistent can he be when he does so. When Corey is on, he's on. He's unstoppable. He's not a guy who you're going to design plays for to run, although he is a very spectacular runner, which is why he's number 2, right? But he's a guy who, when he's on the roll, when the pocket breaks down, he's not going down that easily. He's not, okay? And he's a guy who, in that second half of the Celebration Bowl, you saw him put every single throw on the money, including that famous 4th and 19. Now, that's all I got to say about that. If you want to still disagree with me after that, that's fine. But Corey Fields deserves your respect. He deserves everybody's respect. Now, 2,000 yards passing, 18 touchdowns, it also speaks for itself as well. But hey, what do I know? Y'all gonna say I'm biased because, I'm from South Carolina. That's the whole, y'all gonna say I'm biased, so whatever. All right, and at number 1, this should come as no surprise. Andrew Body. Now, Andrew Body is the best mobile quarterback in the HBCU ball. And that, I'm not going to say it's not close, because I don't believe that at all. I think, the gap isn't that big, but it's enough space there to where Andrew Body has separated himself from everybody else. As a true freshman, him and Shedeur took over the SWAC conference. Although Shedeur got all the attention, Andrew didn't get enough. Andrew did not get enough. See, 2,000 yards passing, 11 touchdowns to only 4 picks. That's a pretty good touchdown interception ratio. You listen to that and you say that's not that much. That's because this man had to run as well. As a matter of fact, he was 7th in the SWAC in rushing yards as a freshman quarterback. 7th as a freshman quarterback. Quarterback play was not that great, which means running was really taking the center stage for the SWAC last season. And he was 7th, averaging 6 yards per carry in an offense that really does fit him well. 642 yards passing. I looked at this man and I said, bruh, for him to do all of this as a true freshman, the SWAC is in good hands. The SWAC is really in good hands. Of course, Akil is gone, Felix is gone. The top 2 guys in this conference now, Shedeur Sanders, Andrew Body. And I think that Andrew Body is going to really separate himself. I'm not saying from Shedeur or anything like that. I'm not making that promise, but he's going to really separate himself from a lot of mobile quarterbacks next season. That man is box office. He is the definition of box office. Texas Southern really got them one with Andrew Body. So that is my top 10 list. You guys let me know what you think down below in the comment section. More videos to come, big interviews to come as well if you are a Jackson State fan. So be on the lookout for that. Or if you're just a football fan, period, you should definitely check it out. With that being said, man, I'm your host, Kobe Orr. You're watching the CFL podcast. I'm out.